right now we're on our final session, which is an industry keynote on cloud adoption, challenges and opportunities in the post-COVID world. We're joined by our speaker, Vikas Singh Yadav, CISO, Nykaa. Vikas Singh Yadav is an experienced information security and a management professional with 20 years of leadership experience in telecommunications, project management, and cybersecurity. Well, if you may have any questions directed to our speaker, please type it in the Q&A tab while you're watching this session, and we'll pass it on to the speaker at the end of the session if time allows. Well, with this, I'd like to now pass it on to Vikas. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Bhavna. Thanks a lot. Just allow me a moment to share my screen, and then I'll start the presentation.
Sure.
Hi, Bhavna. Just checking if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can, Vikas. Thank you.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this lovely afternoon to understand my views and share my experiences on cloud security and adoption. The topic for my presentation today would be cloud adoption, opportunities and challenges, primarily from a security perspective. I think all of us have known that coronavirus and the COVID epidemic has brought a transformational shift in the way businesses are done today. And for all small and medium and including large businesses also, the key to survival has been to rapidly adapt to this environment and adopt new technologies. And therein comes the biggest technology which needs no introduction, that is cloud computing. And as we adopt cloud computing, we see several advantages. In the COVID and the corona pandemic, most people have seen, and businesses have seen, that they have moved fully to digital channels. And to survive, some businesses have had to move their complete operations to digital channels. This has accelerated digital transformation, and most IT professionals and CIOs have used this to transform their businesses. This has also helped with the fact that you can utilize the elasticity of the cloud to do and maintain your workloads. In fact, a lot of organizations were able to quickly reduce their OPEX cost in clouds up to 40 to 60% to ensure that they did incur the savings from the loss of revenue and the reduced customer base when employees and all the personnel reduced their spending. Another reason was the fact that analytics and big data has helped a lot of companies to open new revenue channels. It offers a lot of customer insights and also the ability to understand the key metrics in various areas. Therefore, in business diligence, in product management, you've seen a lot of tools which can be used, and cloud helps us do that. If you notice today that most of us are using some or the other technology in the cloud. If you're not directly deployed on the cloud in terms of using an infrastructure as a service, wherein all your IT operations are not running on AWS, Azure, or Google, you would definitely be using some kind of a SaaS application today, be it HR solution or be it email using, for example, Office 365, G Suite, and also now more and more technology companies are using the platform as a service to provide the developers with the latest and the best tools for technology and also to enable them to build better applications for their businesses. So what are concerns in cloud adoption? As you would see, this was a study carried out by Clutch, which is an IT consulting firm, which rated security as one of the top concerns for moving to the cloud. Now, even though we have this as a concern, you would notice that there are a lot of other aspects as well, be it migration, be it lacking cloud expertise. And that is one reason I think where this kind of a conference helps out, because you need to both understand the industry environment as well as understand the cloud technologies by constantly learning and unlearning. And regulatory concerns obviously stop a lot of BFSI customers from moving to the cloud. And there's also an apprehension that cost could drastically increase. And we have seen this in various firms who have gone back to an on-prem environment when they have not been able to manage the costs. Now, what I consider is that a Gartner article once said that instead of doing a cloud shift, you should be cloud smart. That means if you're shifting to the cloud, be smart about it. So that is why we need to adopt cloud in a more secure and a more intelligent way. However, even though the previous survey talked about security being the main concern, in the same survey, it also came out as the primary benefit which the cloud infrastructure provides to enterprises is security, followed by increased efficiency and increased management of the data which they handle. Now, how do we handle these two uh, different surveys, or the same survey giving different results, or maybe not different results, but a little bit of different perspective where the security comes both as a major concern as well as also a major benefit. For this, we need to understand how the cloud really works. I think the cloud is like putting your money in the bank. Even though if you would like to try and keep your money in the cloud, or money in the bank, a lot of people are still apprehensive. And I think demonetization proved that when a lot of people came out with their money stashed in various places. However, the advantages of keeping your money in the banks far outweigh keeping it in your own environment, wherein you would allow an expert person to do a much better job at protecting your precious resource. Similarly, in IT environment where you have critical data and applications, you move to the cloud and you ensure that you have much better visibility, much better techniques, much better technologies to ensure the uptime of your application, protection of your data, and also derive major business benefits from them. So what are the key advantages of moving of your applications and IT infrastructure to the cloud? Firstly, it gives you enhanced visibility. I can tell you from personal experience, when I worked in organizations which had a hybrid deployment, I was constantly worrying and wondering what server and application was running in our data center and whether I had a full view or not. Here, as a CISO, if now I'm deploying completely on AWS or Azure, I can, with a single click of an application like AWS config or other aspects, be able to visualize and understand my complete cloud environment by not only measuring the various systems which I'm using, but also the various services which I'm utilizing. Now the second major advantage is that a cloud service can be monitored at all times. We have recently seen HDFC Bank undergoing a major outage on the primary data center. I'm not denying that these outages do not occur to cloud providers. In fact, AWS also suffered a minor outage. However, the effects of the cloud outages are much reduced because of various better features and easy availability of backup and highly available resilient systems. For example, in AWS, you can not only have an HA, you can have a backup, you can have a DR in various regions. Similarly, when you move to the cloud, you have various security measures which you can take in mind. For example, you can talk about identity management, you talk about network defense in depth, you can talk about backups, you can talk about various security monitoring services. Now, all these services are also available on-prem, but they're easier and faster to deploy in a cloud environment. Another area which cloud outweighs on-premise environments is when having up-to-date security systems. Now, patching, as all of us will understand, is a nightmare. But cloud facilitates and allows us to use the new technologies like microservices and containers to ensure that we don't rely on insecure systems. The whole concept of immutable infrastructure, where you spin up and spin down various services, helps you to ensure that your outage and your ability to have old systems is reduced drastically. So therefore, cloud offers a much better security environment than an on-prem. However, I think as we saw that there is a security concern. So therefore, I think all of us need to understand what a shared responsibility model is. For example, AWS says that they are responsible for security of the cloud, and you are responsible for your data and your environment in the cloud. So therefore, for various environments or various cloud service models, the responsibility of the cloud provider reduces as you move towards a more infrastructure-oriented environment. For example, in an infrastructure as a service, the whole physical environment is looked after by the cloud provider, and they provide you with various tools to implement services at the operating system, network, and identity levels. However, in PaaS, those areas are also partially taken care of by the cloud provider. In SaaS applications, your majority of the security is looked after by the provider. But as you would have noticed in various cases, I think you still have various SaaS applications which have been breached. So therein you to understand that the data, the devices, and most importantly, identity management is one area which you need to look after to understand and ensure that you secure your application or your SaaS application. So a simple example could be that if you take on a SaaS application and assume that you will not protect your identity management or authentication through two-factor authentication or through a better form of risk-based authentication, you will be responsible for ensuring and who is logged on to that particular application. Moving on, I think we also, when we adopt a new technology or a new service like cloud, we have to decide between using various native versus third-party controls. So AWS, Azure also have very good various security aspects. We will view this under the lens of the four major pillars of security aspects or how deployment is done. Firstly, network security. Now, network security is a little different in cloud than in on-prem, wherein you are primarily using security groups to control, wherein you on the on-prem environment, you definitely use a firewall. So should you use a native security groups which are available to you, or you use external network firewall? In vulnerability management also, your AWS or Azure provides you services like AWS Inspector, which allows you to validate and check vulnerability of your various applications. And also, you could use the standard NISTs which you use for scanning. Now, what do you do about workload security? Most people and most professionals believe that you need to pick up and install endpoint solutions or cloud protection solutions there. Now, it all depends on your business criticality. You can use the standard protections of that keeping your endpoint into or a cloud workload into a naturally segregated VPC or a virtual private cloud, or you could install a solution from CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, or others. And one of the most important aspects which you need to keep in mind is application orchestration and automation. That means you need to look at things like how can you automate your whole environment. And also, one thing which I have not really delved deep into it because of shortage of time is the whole journey of cloud facilitating DevOps in a much bigger and better environment than the on-prem environment. So you can do this whole environment or application orchestration using Chef, Puppet, and other technologies. And then you can also build in security in the DevOps environment in a much better way when using various cloud native security tools and technologies. I think before I end this, I always like to keep my application, my presentations and talks a little practical. So I just want to give you some references for how you can yourself increase your cloud security journey. For example, CIS benchmarks is one of the first tools which you should use to benchmark and assess your cloud environment. I think this is a freely available solution available on the cloud. You can use it using various third-party tools like Prowler and Scout Suite. You can assess. You can pick up these and do a manual assessment using an Excel sheet by viewing the cloud controls which are there in your environment. You should also read the Cloud Security Alliance, which is a very good reference for and read the report on the top threats to cloud computing environment, wherein they have given not only examples of which organizations have been breached because of not taking care regarding certain threats, but they've also given measures on how you can implement the security. And finally, as what people say is, I think if you can build it, you will learn it the best. So do pick up a free tier account of Google, AWS, Azure, and try and build something yourself on the cloud and secure it. I think that's the best and the fastest way to learn cloud security. I hope I have been able to give my brief experiences and inputs to you for your cloud security and adoption journey. Finally, I think this particular cartoon sums it all. Be aware of the cloud and don't become afraid of it. Do not ping pong the responsibility of cloud security being between you and the provider. Understand what the responsibility of the cloud provider and understand what's your responsibility, and then go ahead and implement those various controls. Thank you very much. I am done for the day. Bhavna, if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Vikas. Firstly, your experience is truly valued, and whatever you said, I'm sure a lot of them would be taking a note of the same, because a lot was on experiential sharing what you've done. So, Vikas, currently no questions from the audience, but we'd really like to thank you for your talk today, and thank you for giving us time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bhavna, and thanks to Trescon for this opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.